Phil Spencer had some really interesting things to say in a recent interview with IGN about Halo Infinite and the future of Halo, even if Infinite isn't a killer success. He also addresses Battle Royale directly for Halo, which is definitely a very interesting topic within the community. So I'm going to break all that down for you guys in this video, give you guys my opinions on what Phil had to say. Make sure you guys like this video to support future Halo content, and subscribe if you're new here and you want to stay absolutely up to date on all the latest happenings in the world of Halo, including MCC and Halo Infinite. When asked about how vital Halo Infinite will be to Xbox, Phil Spencer said, "I don't think it's make or break, I just don't believe that. There's going to be millions of people who play that game and love that game. And I'm sure there will be people who will see opportunities for us to do more, and that's just the nature of being in the entertainment business, and we accept it." Now, I do agree when Phil says that there's going to be millions of people who play that game and love that game. I mean, it's a Halo game, it's going to be popular, and the free-to-play multiplayer is going to be absolutely huge for the series. Not to mention the amount of platforms that Halo Infinite is going to be on, more than the series has ever seen in the past. We're talking the Xbox One family of consoles, the Xbox Series S and X, PC of course, and do not forget about xCloud, which will also be featuring Halo Infinite. And when Phil says that he's sure that some people see opportunities for them to do more, that's just the nature of being in the entertainment business. Of course that's true with any big franchise, with anything really. You cannot please 100% of the player base. There is always going to be a divide somewhere, especially within the Halo community. We fight over the littlest things, but that is just how passionate and rabid this fan base is, and Phil Spencer touched on that as well. He went on to say that Halo will be here 10 years from now. Is Infinite the linchpin for whether or not it survives that long? Absolutely not. The game has such a rabid fan base and such a history and lore that it's just an IP that's going to be with us. We don't take that for granted, but I definitely believe that in my core. I never want to put a team in a position where they feel like, hey, this one's gotta land, or who knows. Now there's a lot to dissect here, we'll just take it piece by piece. So when he says Halo will be here 10 years from now, I absolutely agree. Whether Infinite succeeds or not, Halo will definitely be here 10 years from now. It's just the landscape might look quite different. When he talks about having such a rich history and lore for the IP, that is absolutely true. I really look at Halo something akin to Star Wars. Now obviously Star Wars is huge because, you know, it has the huge movies that started with that, but it has all the extended stuff, different mediums. So Star Wars has video games, books, comics, toys, movies, you name it. And Halo definitely has that kind of star power. We have already seen Halo cross over into several other forms of media. But something that I do want to bring up is the failure of a flagship franchise, something you really don't see often from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And I'm being more specific by saying flagship because I'm not counting things like Killzone or any other of those kind of second tier big franchises for Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, or Gears even is a huge franchise, yes, but it's not as big as Halo. Halo is the flagship of Xbox. But when is the last time that Sony put out a bad God of War title? Or when is the last time that Nintendo put out a bad mainline Zelda or Mario game? You just don't see it happen. Now, no matter your stance on 343 Halos or Bungie Halos, there is no such thing as a bad Halo game. Whether you agree with that or not, the facts are that both commercially and critically, Halo as a series has killed it, with well over $3 billion in sales and over 81 million copies sold worldwide, and none of the FPS titles having lower than an 83 on Metacritic. The series is a stalwart. See what I did there? However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. When I was asking earlier about when is the last time Sony or Nintendo put out a flagship that was mediocre, I was pointing this out because of course Microsoft did it once with Halo. Unfortunately, MCC was a disaster, and it is now one of the greatest comeback stories in gaming, but it almost single-handedly ruined a lot of people's love for the franchise. So while I do get why Phil doesn't want to put extra pressure on 343, you can't help but wonder if Infinite somehow does fail and isn't really well received by the fan base, then maybe we'll see some changes and even a developer change or a huge shakeup with the management at 343. Now, I'm not saying that is what I want because I think 343 has been knocking it out the park lately, but I'm just saying that even though Phil says there's no pressure, I think there is a tremendous amount of pressure on 343 to deliver with Halo Infinite. The next thing I want to talk about was Phil addressing the need for Halo to follow trends or even put something like a battle royale in Halo Infinite. He said, with a lot of the innovations and evolutions that have happened in the FPS multiplayer over the years, there was something very pure about coming back to a Halo Arena experience and how clean it was and how tight the gameplay loop was. Right now on our platform, there are a lot of games that are going back to that tried and true formula and perfecting what they have, and I think that's what the goal of this team is. Now, this will be music to a lot of your ears who are so against Halo having a battle royale. You guys know my opinions on it. I personally would love a Halo battle royale. I don't think Infinite needs one, but I would play the crap out of one if it did come to Halo Infinite. But he does still leave the door open. He went on to say, if you don't get that right, you don't get permission to do anything else. So if Halo Infinite's multiplayer is well received, 343 will get the go ahead to do more modes and more robust offerings for Halo Infinite, and maybe that does include a battle royale in the future. Spencer did also say that more modes for Halo Infinite will be revealed in the future, which makes me wonder what you guys would like to see make a return in Halo Infinite. I personally would love to see Ricochet make a big return. I found that mode extremely fun in Halo 4. Would love to see that come back. Invasion would be really cool, a new spin on it, especially if it's Spartan versus Brutes. That would be extremely fresh and exciting for the franchise. I definitely want to see something new, fresh, exciting for Halo Infinite to draw players in. I don't know if that is Big Team 2.0. I think they need to come up with something else on top of that. But honestly, I found what Phil had to say really interesting. It was a good interview over on Podcast Unlocked on IGN, their Xbox podcast. If you guys want to listen to the whole thing, then go on ahead and head on over to their YouTube. I'll have a link in the description in my sources, as I always do. Make sure you guys also check out my video from yesterday where I go over some new flighting news for Halo Infinite, as well as a possible release date being revealed, of course, through some new merchandise, a new sick looking Master Chief statue. If you guys want to get the details on that, the card will be on your screen in the top right corner right now. And if you guys really want to interact with me, talk with me on a live basis, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepatmangaming. I am a frequent streamer, and I even have a new schedule that I'm going to try to stick to and see how that works, while also cranking out a bunch of content this month for you guys to see if we could really grow this channel, especially before the flights happen. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Hope to catch you on either a previous video of mine or maybe even a future video of mine. Until that time comes, I'm your boy Patman, and I'm out.